Hello there. In this video, I want to repeat a couple of concepts that I taught you earlier on understanding image resolution and getting the right size images for your artwork, your designs in Photoshop. So now let's talk about searching for images. Okay. I know typically students will start with doing a Google image search, and although that might be good for practicing in terms of major projects such as midterms, finals, anything that might go in a portfolio, I would prefer if you did not use Google image search. But let's say you just need to practice Photoshop on your own, you want to get some images and you decide to use Google. So let's say here I'm looking for a billboard, and you really can't tell just by looking what the dimensions are. Well, I'm not going to tell you what size it should be. Only thing I can say is the larger, the better. You don't want to have an image that's too small and then you can't really work with it in Photoshop. You can always take an image that's too big and make it smaller, but you cannot take a small image and make it bigger. So as I'm searching for images, the larger I can get them will be the better for me. So if I mouse over all of these images, you see the dimensions right there. Okay. Now I can either, search through all of these and figure out which ones are large or small, or I can use the filters over here and filter out all the sizes that I don't want. So first you have the image, the any size filter, and I can say, show me just those images that are large. Okay, so now you can see the dimensions here. Now remember, my screen is like 1440 by 900, and I'm getting dimensions here that are, well larger than even my monitor. So that's good. These images are nice and large, and that's good. Another thing that I can do, instead of having to hover over them to see the sizes, I can also tell Google to just show me the sizes right off the bat. That way, at a glance, I can see just through scrolling, and I can look and see what all the dimensions are. One last filter is you can either search it by large, or you can say show me images that are larger than. You can go through certain dimensions, or exactly, and then you can type in a size. Okay, but for now, large, anything that's deemed large or larger is good. So let's say, for example, I decide to choose this one. It's well over 2,000 pixels wide, almost 2,000 pixels tall. That's great. So I'm going to click full size image. So I can either copy it and paste it into Photoshop, or I can save it. That way I have the original file and then bring that into Photoshop. So I'm going to call this Billboard 1, put it on the desktop. Okay, and so now that's one way to search for images if you're doing Google image search. The only thing is, you don't know if this image is protected by copyright. Students tend to ignore this right here, okay? But, you do not want to use a copyrighted image or an image that you do not have permission to use within your layout. So my advice to you is to probably go for the more royalty-free sites that you do not have to seek permission to use. So my recommended site is Stock Exchange. The address is sxc.hu. You need to have an account, so you want to log in or create an account if you do not have one. And when you're searching for images, in the results, you'll notice that your first row is always premium. The thing with these first row images is that these you do have to pay for. So you want to disregard those. The next row are images that are directly from Stock Exchange. These are all free. Okay, so there are 88 images for billboards that I can choose from. This one is nice and large. When I click it, It tells you that you can go ahead and use it. You don't have to get a model release, a royalty free. And to get it into Photoshop, I simply click it, and you can see how nice and large these images are. So again, I can save image as, and I'll put that on the desktop. It's Billboard 2. Okay. Now what am I going to put on the billboard? Okay, so let's say if we're looking for a beach. Now I'm going to go back to Google because I want to show you it's like the right and wrong, the issues that may happen if you do not pay attention to the dimensions of the images. And let's say I decide to go for pick a smaller image, like an image like this. So I'm going to save this. It's beach 1. Okay. As opposed to perhaps doing a search on Stock Exchange, and let's say I decide to go for this one. Look at this fishing boat here. Click it, gets nice and large. I'm going to save this as beach 2. That's the boat. Okay, so let's compare our image results directly in Photoshop. I'm going to use my mini bridge to access my images. These images are on the desktop. Here's the billboard from Stock Exchange, and I'm just going to double click that, bring it right into Photoshop. I'm also going to get these 2 beach images and bring those into Photoshop as well. I'm closing down mini bridge. So let's take a look at this billboard image. I want to focus right here where you have the dimensions or the magnification of the image. So you can see that we're viewing this at not even actual size. We're viewing this at 33% magnification. If I were to zoom in by pressing Command plus, you can see that this is really quite a large image. I'm going to press Command minus to kind of zoom it back down. I want to take this beach 1 image. Okay. Now, let's say if you did not know, you didn't know the proper way to do this, you thought maybe that, the beach image would somehow fit in here on the billboard. So let's take our move tool. We're going to do a drag and drop. So you see what happens. Clearly, this beach image, there's just no way it can fill up this billboard size. Okay, and you cannot take your transform and try to stretch it out to fill, because it just the quality of the image is going to break down tremendously. You cannot do that. So we're going to get rid of that layer. However, we take this beach boat, and notice that we're viewing this at also 33% magnification. We're viewing the billboard at 33% magnification. So if I take this image, drag it, drop it, you can see that it is a good size to fit within that billboard. I'm going to show you a little trick while we're here at it. Okay, clearly my idea is to get this boat here on the billboard without having to distort it too much. So I'm going to take my magic wand here. Since the billboard background is solid white, I'm going to click, get a selection of the billboard, pop it on its own layer by itself. You can see it right there. And I want the boat to clip or to show through the white. Okay, so I want the boat to show through that white layer. Well, if I press Command Option G, I can clip. So take a look. Now the boat image is showing through, the boat layer is showing through the white layer. Put back my background, and look at that. Because it's clipped, I can move it around, position it how I want. I have all this image to play with. I can even press Command T to transform and shrink it in a little bit, rotate it ever so slightly, and press Return to set it. So clipping allows you to have one layer show through the layer that's underneath it. The top shows through the bottom. Okay, so that's a little extra tip I threw in there. The main thing I want you to understand is the resolution, the images. Try to get images that are large. The larger they are, the better. You can always make them smaller, but you cannot take a small image and try to make it larger to fit. So until next time, peace out.